ropes it off. A flying tackle by Anna Dropkick.
10 pounds of pure love.
Gotta hold this just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm the rich.
Gotta be the best of them. It's more to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
They call this the 10 pounds of gold. The championship has existed in its current proper form since 19...
That was pretty hard, and look at what he's gonna work now. Ooh.
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 Billy Corgan's NWA. We had a fairly solid pay-per-view. Had some problems, but overall I think we did pretty okay. And we got a lot of news here. This news is live today when I'm recording, but you probably won't see this until early next week. But a lot of people got let go from WWE. So, as always, we try to keep it, even though we are way behind in terms of timeline, I still try to keep it copacetic and bring these people out, because a lot of people just like to see these hires as they get dropped. So, as of now, these are the people that got dropped, and we let them go out of WWE, let their contracts expire. We could potentially get them. Most of them, I have imagined, are not going to be available. So, like, I would love a Braun Strowman, but I doubt that he's willing to negotiate. So expect them to get sucked up into AEW, and they're going to get even bigger. You know, like a Tom Phillips might actually not be a bad idea for a commentary team. He is available, so potentially an option. Ruby Riott, who actually should be Heidi Lovelace in the story. Yep. I feel like that age is wrong, but would be a great get, actually, for our women's division, which is one of the things I want to look at. We got some stuff to do backstage here before we really get into the show. Just because we want to clean up some stuff up. So, we did do exceptionally well in the last month. And I'm going to show you some of that. So, first of all, we finished first out of 3 in the Southeast region, which isn't like a huge battle, but that does give us a 5% boost to our attendance next month, which is fantastic. Means we're moving in the right direction. And we got some one-night deals for our alliance, not a big deal. Financially, though, we're in the 1st of March now, looking fantastic. So, we look at this, and we look at that performance, and what we're seeing is we make about $25,000 a month now versus losing $20,000 a month now. Our development is actually turning a solid profit. So our investment into the CZW, which we thought was actually going to be a money sink, has actually been a fantastic purchase. Now, we got a long way to go to make up that money, but it's putting us, $5,000 now a month extra is well worth it to me. So it's going to take a little bit of time, like half a year before it starts turning an actual profit, if you consider the fact that we spent about $50,000 on it. But short term, not a bad deal. And we get a child company, we get a feeder, we got a place to send some people. Overall, fantastic. And I think this is actually going to get a lot higher because we just renegotiated their abysmal deal that they had with the TV networks, which I think is probably one of the reasons why they were doing so poorly. This is, if you recall, a earlier version of the Real World Chronicles mod, and I think at the point that this came out, some of the nuance between the revenue sharers wasn't quite figured out long-term yet. So I think there were some misses there, and I think that was one of the reasons why CZW was plummeting as much as it was, is that they really didn't get the fair share of revenue that they should have gotten, and we're going to correct that. So that's cool. Pay-per-view is about steady, but having a pay-per-view every month has been a net positive, so I'm happy with that decision. Our ticket sales are rising, our broadcast revenue is about the same, which is what we would expect, and our sponsorships are roughly the same. Merchandise sales have had a market increase this last couple months, which is very cool to see. I mean, well, not necessarily market increase, but about like $3-4 grand average extra. This last month, we had the highest of our merch sales, and definitely is going to continue to be at this level. Meanwhile, our expenses are not horrible, so we're kind of running that fairly okay. Very happy with that. Monthly wage bill is $1,700. Sponsorship income's $150,000. Production costs are fine. We could potentially even fully up our production. Right now, we're even with everybody. In-house, we're running into some issues with our music. So, I believe several of our competitors are running better music. I don't know if it's worth it for that one little penalty. Because it would be, we're paying $10,000 a month right now. This would be $25,000. So it's like more than double in cost. Like, we financially could do it right now, but I don't know if it's actually worth it. So, let me know what you guys think. But I don't think the benefit of removing that one minor penalty, which is only like a 2% downgrade in our total performance, I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather keep the money. Or at least until we really see where we land. Because that would bring us down to performance on end about $10,000 plus, which is still great. But if we have a big hiring day, if we have to pay some fines or something crazy or whatever, there could be some problems with that. So, I don't know. I can see the argument for it, honestly, just to continue to move our momentum. Our size is still just growing very slowly. We're at 46, now at 47 for our main area. It's going to grow slow, and we'll get there eventually. We got a long ways to go, though, to really amp it up, but I'm hopeful that we will get there soon enough. Now, what did we have to look at? We wanted to look at our roster. So, we got 44 people, which is not an obscenely high amount. We only need a minimum 20, but quite frankly, it's very hard to book, and you're going to actually run into some significant issues with burnout. Because in the game, if you have the same matchup too many times in a short period of time, which is like a quarter, the fans will get tired of it. So, we might be at the point where like an Eddie Kingston Pillman is close to getting that burnout, right? And having a deep roster means that you can move people in and out. The difficulty with the roster, especially, it isn't the finances, because almost all of our contracts have no downside right now. So that'll be an issue we'll have to deal later as we cross the bridge to medium and become a larger company, become out of a regional and into, a cult size or a national size. That's not an issue right now for us at all. So we're not concerned about that one bit. But we have an issue that comes from burnout of our wrestlers. Not specifically the same way that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that every wrestler wants to be on the show, and if you're not on the show, they're going to get pissed off. Now, right now, we've done a fairly good job of managing this, actually. If we look at morale, any negative morale, I think we only have one person. Pillman's irritated, and that's still being... So, just to give you an example, he was upset that he wasn't on Power once. But he's still irritated at that. So we can give him like a bonus to shut him up, things like that. But that becomes expensive. So that's the danger of having to deal with that large of a roster. I think so far, if we only have one real negative, and we did have another one last episode, but for the most part, everyone is normal or happy, and it's fine. So. Oh, wow, we still have the Colt Josephus up. We got to get rid of that. That cult is gone. We have to delete that. Kingdom looks good, though Matt Cross needs to be out of it now. Yeah, sorry guys, this is going to be a lot of behind. There's just a lot of little things we haven't set up and fixed yet, so I'll do it here real quick. That we really haven't mentioned yet, but Jarrett has kind of a stable we're going to build soon. New Shield can go. So we have Smoking Aces, the Kingdom, GFR, Global Force Revolution, which Pillman will probably become a part of. Would be my guess as Jarrett sort of kind of takes him under his wing. So that's all we have for this, and then we also have our new stable of the Satori Institute. Like-minded individuals looking for growth, harmony, and progress. That is definitely not a cult. Okay, and we got to add this in. Deputy and Matt Cross is going to be a member. Perfect. Importance, yes. Mixed, yes. Disposition, any right now is fine. Must involve, well, it doesn't really have to probably must involve Bowden, but that's really more for the AI. We don't really need to worry about that. Perfect. Okay. So that looks right now. And obviously more groups can come, and there's certainly ideas I have of bringing more stables into the mix. But that's what we got right now. Now, the issue that we have is I want to hire some people, but I don't also want to get too crazy with the roster. So I want to keep it around that 45 sweet spot. It's been fairly nice. I'm willing to go to like 48, maybe 49, maybe even 50, but I feel more comfortable. I feel like for the 44, with the hour and a half show and the pay-per-view, generally we're getting enough movement around. We could probably use a few more jobbers, though I honestly just prefer to use local talent for a one-night show for that, and that's been fine. So I'm going to keep it at 44. That does mean I want to look at maybe getting rid of some people. Some of this will be unpopular, but what we'll do is we're going to look at not perception, though it would be interesting to see who are our major stars right now. Ace Austin, Pillman, Akam, and Razor, which is kind of shocking. So we should really think about having them become more prominent in the tag team scene. Right now, there are more lackeys of Jarrett, but I think we should push that. That might be actually a pretty interesting angle. Samoa Joe, of course, who's actually in the upper mid card right now, but we're moving him up. Pentagon, when he's available, even though he has cooled momentum right now, we can fix that. Eli Drake, Nick Aldis, Eddie Kingston, right? So that makes sense. So those are our top stars in the main event. Our upper mid card is Big Cass, FTR, Enzo, Miro, the Von Erichs. Okay, makes sense. So we actually don't have a lot of singles in our upper mid card. That might be something we need to fix too. Though I would consider Nick Aldis right now more of a upper mid carder. For our mid card, we have Colbana, Kimberly, King Mo, Levi Cooper, Tyler Breeze, Sonya, Zicky Dice. Okay. For our lower mid card, a lot of our women. And Bo Dallas here. Blyla Doom, Danhausen, Hanson and Rowe, Homicide, Connor and Victor, Leo Rush, Matt Cross, Ricky Starks, which I think he will raise up pretty quickly right now. Wow, actually his stats are fairly solid. We did tweak him like a little bit ago, but I haven't looked at it in a while. And yeah, that marks some potential. Though he has 8 years experience, so he doesn't grow that fast. But we're definitely pumping up his popularity, which will help him out a lot. Thunder Rosa, Tim Storm, Warhorse, right? The Ascension members. So that's our kind of lower mid card. And then the bottom of the card are Allison Kay, Deanna Perusa, interestingly enough. But might just be that we haven't really done much with her. Jarek 120, which makes sense. He's kind of the jobber for Smoking Aces. Jason Cade, that makes sense. Ty Ray, who's sort of the jobber of the kingdom. And Willow. So, we're not necessarily going to fire people based on where they are in perception. I will start to look at, I think, momentum. And see who's negative. And the reason why is this is going to give me a good idea of who I'm not using very much. Allison Kay, I'm not using very much. Hanson, I'm not using much. Homicide, I'm not using much. Jason Cade, Connor, Leah Rush, Matt Cross. It's interesting because we just give him a big win. Pentagon, Rowe, Victor, Willow, Zicky. Okay. Kind of makes sense for some of them. I want to get rid of War Machine. So I think it's time to get rid of them. We've talked about it for a while, and I don't have any use for them. They've been here for a year. They're done what we need them to do. So let's just get rid of Hanson and Rowe. So that looks pretty good. That's a good start of the trimming. Willow Nightingale, I'm going to just send away to... Well, actually, you want to go to Sendai Girls? Will you take an excursion? No, we can't because she's not our only employer. We'll send her to developmental. Allison Kay, I just don't think is useful. And I'm willing to release her as long as no one protests. Homicide will keep. Jason Cade has potential as a high flyer. I'm going to keep for now, though I would not be shocked if he gets another chop. Connor and Victor, I'm contemplating getting rid of, but I'm going to keep him for now because I might have a use for him later. We were on a chopping block at one point for Matt Cross here, and we've rekindled his momentum for a bit with a storyline. And I think Connor and Victor could potentially have that as well. Pentagon's obviously staying, but he just has chilled momentum, and we need to kind of fix that. We need to give him some wins. Zicky Dice, as a member of Smoking Aces, we're going to keep. So none of that. So our disposition-wise, we got rid of what we needed to. Perfect. And now let's look at anybody that is under 40 popularity. That's almost everybody. Okay, let's go 30 popularity. It's still mostly everybody. Is Mira only at? No. Well, that doesn't seem right. Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. So, Allison Danger is not an actual talent. We should probably look up just wrestlers. Roll. Delilah Doom, we're building up. And honestly, she's not done horribly for us. I think she'll be fine. Diana Perusa, I'm very disappointed with in her performances so far, but I'm willing to give her a little bit more of a shot. Jarek 120 is a member of Smoking Aces. I think we'll keep around for a little bit more. Madison Eagles is fine. Nicole Matthews we're about to have a program with, and then I think we can get rid of her. Thunder Rosa's fine. Ty Ray as a member of Kingdom is fine. Though I would not be shocked if we end up booting him at some point. He's got great scores, though, but he never really performs for us. Warhorse and Danhausen, I feel like we're done with. I'm going to keep them on the roster for now, but they're the next to cut, I think, if there's a story beat that doesn't... If there's no story beat that shows up for them, I think they're the next to be cut. But I'm fine with that. So that gets us down to 40. So I don't think we need to make any more cuts right now. Just looking at it once over. And I think we look fine. Our big issue is in the women's division. It's just not performing. But for the rest of it, it doesn't look horrible. Now, who got fired? Who would join? Aleister Black is not going to join us. Aleister Black would join us. That makes this more difficult. That makes that really much more difficult. I mean, skill-wise, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm trying to think of what I would do with them, because I don't have an idea, but I think I have an idea. So, I think in that last 3 seconds of saying that statement, I have a kind of an idea what I would do. I would want him as exclusive, though. So, let's see if we can get him. Should do it for 28. Yes, he would. Perfect. We got to spend a little bit of money, but we're making some money. So, I have no issue with that. You know what? Before I really start, I should have looked and see what our top contracts are, instead of going freaking ridiculous and starting to be a money mark here and throwing and splashing money around. He's definitely going to be one of our top paid. $2,800. He's being paid more than Samoa Joe. That feels wrong to me, but it's not the end of the world. Pillman is so ridiculously overpaid that it skews everything else. I don't think that's unreasonable, though. What's Samoa Joe's popularity? It's about the same, so it's a little bit more expensive, but I think we're going to get about the same results out of him. I have no issue with that. So I think, honestly, under $3,000 for an exclusive contract for a year, for someone like that, I think is fine. Lana, I have really no interest in at all. Murphy is a good hand. He's got some good skills, too. A little expensive. I don't really know what I would do with him. Is kind of the problem. Ruby Riott, I think, would be a very strong addition to the women's division, though. Even though, again, I think her stats are a little undersold here. Having seen her quite a bit in Chikara live, I feel like maybe some of these are a little off, but she does have an built-in popularity that's very helpful. The price is right, too. She's not going to accept this, but she would be willing to. Would you do it for $500 a show exclusive? $600? Yes, I think that's fine. $600 for her, no big deal. Would make a strong addition to the women's roster as we start to kind of find some people. Tom Phillips as a commentator would be great. Braun Strowman would be wonderful, but we can't get him. I don't know if we can get Tom Phillips, though. We can for $600. Let's look at what our chemistry is looking like here. Uh, all right, so let's look at announcers. He is an announcer. So Joe Galli's at 68.76. Color commentary for Pinky George is very strong. So if we were doing averages, because we don't know what because we do have a fog of war here, so we don't know what their exact specific skill set is, right? So, but we can average it. So we know on average, Joe Galli's a 72 in announcing, and our top commentators average for color is a 71. So we're looking at Phillips needs to be a higher than a 72 in announcing or a 71 in color to really be valuable. Or alternatively, as a replacement for Gavin, has to be higher than a 64 in color. Because we really, I think, only need one or two. Let's look at the specifics here of this. Each company can have up to 3 people in the commentary desk at a time. Do not need to include any announcer if the show is not being broadcast, but you will incur a penalty if it's not. Announcers rated on announcing skill. Highest score of each category, along with all the announcing team, is counted, and the same person may provide for both scores, meaning one person in the commentary team is perfectly viable. You're also able to use guest commentators. Guest commentary is rated at 70% of their microphone skill. Actually, that's interesting to know. I should probably do that more often. We don't do that often, and that might not be a bad idea. So, okay, if you have one or more of your commentary team, they are rated on their experience. This is always the highest experience level that can be found in the pairing. Okay, so it sounds like the highest score in each category amongst all of the announcing team is counted in the same person. So are they not averaged up? They do not include any announcers if the show is not broadcast. Week announcing team does not affect it. We also use a guest commentator to simulate people sitting in broadcast. So I mean, he would need to be significantly better, but because it doesn't seem like, looking at this, that if they could just would take the highest announcer, right? Announcers are rated on their announcer skill. In each category, amongst all the announcing teams counted. So what's really the point of having 3? Other than to maybe prep one. So in which case, then, we're looking maybe to replace Joe Galli or replace Pinky. That's really what we're looking at this point. I guess it's helpful, because the 3 commentary doesn't look like it's actually that helpful. So, your skill... He's a good microphone guy, though. You know what? We could use we could really use an interviewer as well. Somebody else part of the commentary team. We didn't really ever think about doing that. We never really incorporate them into it, but that's maybe not a bad idea to have a interviewer. Now, his announcing is 72, so about the same average. His microphone work, though, is fairly solid, 65. Let's get him. Because you know what, we can use one of them as an interviewer, and I think whoever's the best of that, we'll just do a handshake per show is fine, and we'll try to grab him, because we can use just the interviewer. We don't do that a lot. In the interviews we do, we don't score the interviewer, but it might be helpful to have someone there to kind of bounce off of and maybe help some of our weaker microphone workers by having someone there to kind of bounce off of. So that might not be a bad idea. In the news also, we got a new champion over in AEW, which is pretty cool. Proud and Powerful get the World Tag Titles, which is awesome. Well overdue. So that's looking pretty good. I'm happy with those gets. Would have liked a Braun Strowman. Now, that gives us up to like 42. I think we need to do some headhunting, and I just want to see what's out there. I think this episode is just going to be an entire Backstage episode, by the way, so we'll probably have another one pop up that's a actual show, because this one's going to go a little long. But that's fine. Who is available? I want to see anybody who is unemployed right now. I would like to headhunt for some female competitors, real quick. So Zelina Vega is really one of the only ones that's available. Her in-ring skill is not great, though. It is really the issue. But she's got fantastic popularity. I would be cool with giving her a shot and seeing how it goes. I'm going to give her a 3-month contract at this rate. I'm going to try to dip it a little bit lower, though. 18 mark, other perks. I'll cover your travel. No. How about I'll give you more of your merch? No. Doesn't matter to her, because she doesn't get exclusive merch from us. Wage matching. How about that? No. 1630. Okay, we'll try that. Let's do that. We'll give her a little bit of a time to try her out and see how she does in the division. Lana is incredibly popular, but she's got good microphone work. She has very weak wrestling skills, though, about in the under half area. Is incredibly popular. Really a better manager. The question would be, do we bring her in and basically rekindle Miro's career in NWA and repackage him back into that Bulgarian brute character that he was in the early days at WWE and have Lana be his announcer? The gimmick fits the NWA, but it would involve basically completely rebranding Miro. Right now, he's kind of gimmick light. Because other than being brute, he really doesn't have much. And Lana could provide that bump that could be very interesting for him. But what's the price? And he would be happy. He would be thrilled. She is very expensive, though. The thing is, though, with her as a manager for him, that could have a significant impact on a lot. Because we would have really, really great promos and events with him. Like, it would really do well because we could put him at Menace, because he'd just snarl and be angry, as she could talk around him. And she would be very highly rated. I don't know if she's worth $2,300 though. Listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you creative control and hiring veto, because I don't think she actually is upset with anybody. I will give you 55% of your merch sales. I will cover your travel. I will give you a 6-month contract. And I want to get this as low as possible. I think I'm comfortable with just a commentary person here for $1,500. Honestly, I probably would do it for $18, but I just want to see where she lands. Doesn't even register. Not even offering me a $1,900. You know, Could we do 1900? She's not gonna be on the show all the time. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna give her a 6-month contract is fine because we can always cancel it out. Can I get you exclusive though? No. That's fine. 1600. Oh. Or it was 1800, right? Could get you for 1750. 1900. Sure. Let's go. Let's try it. We're going to try it for both. Because she can also kind of wrestle. Not great, but she's set as an occasional wrestler. So, yeah, sure. So this is both of them. I would like to look for one other person. We had our popularity set way too high. Let's see what else we got in the field. Let's set it 30. How do you love list we're going to bring in? Someone always talk about Mickie James, who also got dropped. Like, could be a cool temporary challenger. 700. I get you for less. Give you a hiring veto for 500. 580. Okay, we'll do like a 3-month contract. We're gonna play it out and see how that goes. Mystique is from Mexico. So, not a lot of people unemployed out there that are that interesting for the women's division, which is sort of the issue, right? There's only just so many. Oops. You know, who's available in AEW? Agriho is very strong. She only has a handshake. So is Chris Statlander, who's not nearly as strong. Sakurai only has a handshake. Interesting. Sadie Gibbs also has a very strong aerial. Rhea has a strong technical though. What's her price? 800. It's not horrible. We're not on. Oh, you know what though? When the hell's Dark? Because I bet you Dark ends up screwing us over. You know, we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna get her on a 3-month contract. I'm gonna try to get her at 700. 740. What if I give you a hiring veto? 720? Sure. Okay. We'll do that. I could see her actually being a strong alliance champion. Could be really cool. But she just had a great match against the NWA champion in real life, and her stats look fairly good. Really strong technical. We're looking at like a 65 average there. Strong flashiness. Her microphone works not great, right? That's not shocking. Her basics are all very strong. Your consistency, safety, athleticism. And she has a built-in star power, which is good. So that's not a bad get. I think that does pretty okay for us. And now I just want to see, in terms of male wrestlers, if there's anybody out there in the unemployed field that is interesting that we're missing. Patron, I thought you were in jail. Braun Strowman we can't get. Brock Lesnar we can't get. Buddy Murphy, I just don't think so. Chavo. To Kalisto. People were talking about Kalisto. Certainly a strong aerial. Right? I would be interested to see what we could do with him. What's he at? 700. It's not horrible. I struggle to think story-wise what I would do with him. And I almost would like to match him up with another luchador as a tag team for a while or something. I don't know if we really have anybody out there that could work. Tentatively, let's give him a 3-month. Will he do exclusive written? He will at 700. Let's bring him in for 3 months. I would like to find somebody that is equally aerial, that maybe is unemployed, that we could bring in and maybe team with. That would be interesting. You know what? Let's go a little bit more nationality. We want probably Mexican. Just to lower it down here. See who we have. We got a bunch of options here. Look for somebody younger. Maximum age 29. See who we got. It's a little younger. That might be interesting. Xperia. 67, 60, 78. 61 to 79. I kind of like this Omega. 9 years experience, though, is kind of the bummer. Because he won't grow very fast. He has pretty much no popularity in the Southeast, though. Which is not to be shocked, but definitely is going to hurt his performance. So that's kind of a problem as well. Is just that, can we get somebody with some level of popularity in the Southeast that's younger? I'll even take slightly lower minimum, I guess. Maybe we will just say any or American. Let's see if there's an American luchador that has a similar style. Let's keep it. Let's go to the 40 minimum. I don't want to go with somebody that's super. You can get Boomer, Tate Brothers, Corgan Crosshead, Flip Gordon, the Ants. A lot of ex-Chikara people, which is to be expected, but not really what we're looking for here. Though Boomer has a fantastic, but I don't think that's really the style we're going for. Not quite, at least. Huh. I mean, we can open it up to people that are available, can work in the U.S., looking for a wrestler. Intention is to hire. Has something in there with a strong aerial. Let's go with Hispanic, just because that'll probably get us mostly people that work in the U.S. that are also luchadors. So Southeast, we got like people like Aerostar and stuff like that, but that's not really what we're looking for. I kind of want somebody a little bit more unknown. Well, Bandito is everywhere right now. It's not really what we're looking for. Daga. So I thought he's currently written, though. So I can't really grab him, I don't think. Phoenix. I thought I said to hire. Can work. Well, there's a lot of people on this list that are not available, that are simply not actually available for us. Laredo Kid would be. Now that's an interesting. When is AAA shows and MLW shows? That's the question. Because talk about an interesting combo there. What are you at? 1,000? I mean, you would bump up. I'm gonna tentatively get him on a contract. Gonna try to bump him down a little bit, get him a higher veto. 910, sure. Okay. We'll try that. My concern is AAA's shows might conflict with it. I don't know, because we're filming. I mean, we could always film on different dates. This is really not the end of the world. We're not committed to any specific day for our show. Speaking of which, let's see what our availability is. So AAA runs on Thursdays, which is our issue. Though Fridays looks completely clear from pretty much anything. We kind of stayed away from it for a while because of SmackDowns on it. But I think we would be fine for Friday, honestly. Why don't we do that? Why don't we change our TV show to Friday? Held on Friday. We'll show it on Friday. Tape one at a time, which is what I like to book at. And then that actually clears up our problem with Pentagon always basically never being available. We avoid the issue with AEW on Wednesdays. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. That seems like that solves most of our problems. And then, so we could have like Kalisto and Laredo Kid packaged, maybe like a tag team or something. Could be kind of interesting. We have a relationship. Do we have a relationship with any... with Crash Lucha Libre? We probably should have pulled somebody out of there, but thankfully they won't be upset like it would be in real life. Okay. Big, long backstage episode. I think we did what we needed to do, but let me know, are there other people you think we should hire, or other people you think we should fire? Also, going back into it, do you think we should up our production values to remove that last bit of the penalties that we get for production? Is it worth an extra $15,000 to do it, to get that bonus? Let me know. And expect a regular episode, in the future. Probably pretty soon, probably be the same week of that this is coming out, because this isn't a real episode. But I've rambled long enough. Thank you guys for hanging around for this backstage episode, and I'll see you next time.